All right, what's going on? So I just had a client call and it's pretty cool. Gotta say I really enjoy it. It was basically I helped him get down um to the basis of why he was procrastinating on something, and he's uh, working on starting this business, and he's procrastinating on actually doing the stuff he needs to do. He needs to do some research. He needs to start understanding the stuff, and he's not feeling confident because he doesn't understand things. But the thing is, in order to understand it, he's going to need to study it. He needs to study it, take notes, be organized about it, start putting that into some sort of master document for himself. And this is the stuff I did when I had my business too, right? I built all these systems, and a lot of them were pretty complicated. And there's no way in hell I was going to remember all the shit that I did. It's impossible, right? But the thing is, he didn't know why he was procrastinating. He just noticed he was low energy and just didn't want to do it. So what we did is we got down to like what was going on. So I asked questions like, okay, so like what's first we found out what the trigger is, like what's going on. Um, when does he start to lose energy? And then we got to okay, it's around this time, and then because it meant something, right? That during this time, these things happen that meant something. So what do they mean? What is the emotions attached to these? And then we got to what that. Well, see, I'm trying. This is something new for me. I'm trying to talk about it in a way that doesn't feel like I'm oversharing. You know what I mean? Like, and it's uncomfortable for me. Like talking about work that I'm helping people with is it's uncomfortable. It's not natural, and that's why I'm practicing it here, honestly, right? Because I want to get comfortable with this because it's you know something I like doing. It's something I'm proud of doing. I enjoy it, and I like seeing the positive results that comes from it. It's really nice. I just struggle talking about it. So, but yeah, we got to that, and then we I basically just kept digging. I just kept asking questions. And that's my style is I ask questions. I try to let people come to their own results. Like I lead with the questions, but I tend to find it's a lot more powerful when someone comes to their own result rather than you just talking at them. Like if I just talk at them and I tell them, oh well, this is why, then they're like, oh okay, but it doesn't hit. It doesn't. It's not the same as when they discover it themselves. When they discover it themselves, there's like oh well, shit. It's just like it's much more impactful. So yeah, we started digging into why the things were where they were, right? And started to figure out that okay, he's stressed about, um, he's stressed about not about being overwhelmed. Like, what if he jumps into this and then he's overwhelmed in this new business, and now he's got all these responsibilities. And he doesn't really know what to do. And at first, he was like, "Well, what if I don't have enough clients for my business?" And I was like, "Okay, well, how do you feel about the marketing side?" And he's like, "Well, I feel pretty good. I feel really good about it." I'm like, "Okay, but you're afraid of being overwhelmed because you don't have enough clients because that's what he told me. But you feel good with marketing, so you'll never have not enough clients, right? That didn't make sense." And he's like, "Oh, okay." And it made him think a little deeper, right? Until he got to like, oh, well, he's just overwhelmed because he doesn't know all the stuff that he needs to know. And he's like, you know, I don't know everything I need to know. And so that's when we started getting into like, how can we solve that? Well, he's doing a coaching program on this specific business right now, and they gave him a bunch of information, but he hasn't really looked at it. He hasn't dived into it. He hasn't because when you're given something like that, it's one thing to just have the information, but you're not going to trust it because why would you? Right? You don't know what's in it. You haven't actually processed and analyzed it yourself yet. So you don't know if there's other questions that you need to ask. You don't know if it's complete. You don't know if it's trustworthy. I mean, obviously you trust the program, but you don't know the information and you haven't read through it. So his next step is to actually read through it, start digesting it, take notes, and I was showing him how to, set up just even something simple like a Google Doc where you can have different tabs. You can start organizing this information, right? One thing on this subject, another page on this subject. You can start putting headings, right? You put a heading for that subject, right? You can start organizing the information. So you start having a master um, cheat sheet for yourself. And so I showed him how to do that on Google Docs, and we made a plan, right? His plan's to study this information, ask questions from his business coaches, um, and start getting the right start actually processing it, start understanding it, asking the critical questions. Okay, well, but if this happens, what do I do there? It's not in the packet that he gave me, so what do I do? And then writing those answers that he gets from his business coaches into his master sheet there. And his plan is now to do 90 minutes a day right after he gets home from work. And I showed him a tool that you can use too. There's Focus Mate, which is something really helpful for those of us that have trouble focusing, trouble concentrating, like, kind of that ADHD like tendency. Now, again, right, I don't really, whatever. ADHD is just your brain's a little different. Who cares? But you do have to work with it. You do have to work with it. And so Focus made something really helpful. So I told him about that. And so that's his plan now. And what that's going to do, and these are questions I asked. Okay, well, once you do this, what is going to happen for you? Like, how is that going to feel? And he told me he's going to feel a lot more confidence because now he's understanding. Now he doesn't feel overwhelmed by all this information. And I remember before at the start of the call, he didn't know what was going on. Like he just noticed that his energy was low. He didn't know why. And now he understood that, okay, like once he starts doing this and starts getting through all the information, which is a lot, right? It's going to take some time. Maybe it'll take a couple months or so, right? But once he gets through it all, he knows he understands it. He knows he's asked the questions that he needs to ask and clarify things. Once he has that and has this master document there, he's going to feel a lot more confident, and the energy goes up because now he's not fighting his own fear, because that's what happens when the energy goes down. You're fighting your own fear. You have a fear and you're like, shit. And so you procrastinate, right? You procrastinate. You don't want to do it because you're scared. But generally, that fear lives underneath conscious awareness, right? So it just shows up as lack of energy, shows up as procrastination. But this is him dealing with the fear. And once he's dealt with the fear, he told me he's going to feel a lot more excited. And I could hear the excitement in his voice already because now he has a path. Before he didn't have a path. He was just like, I'm just procrastinating. I don't know why. And so it's sessions like this that make me feel really good, feel good about what I'm doing. And, I'm making a positive difference in somebody else's life. So I just want to share it here. All right. Thanks.